So, all right. So, without wasting time, let's get started. First and foremost, we're gonna start with this watch list. 150 names in there. I'm gonna shuffle through all of them quickly. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time each of them. Then once we're done, then I will post later on X my final watch list for the next week. But regardless, as I go through, you can see if any setup you like. You can also make your watch list alongside with me. And then once we're done with this watch list, I will go over my SY analysis for the rest of the week and some other ETFs too. So, let's just do some ETFs first and get the main idea what's going on, and then we can look into the stocks. And in the end, I will go over all the questions you guys have. So save it for the end. As for the ETFs, I only look at a couple of the main ones. We have ARK, Dow Jones, IWM, Jets, all these, just the main ones. I don't, look at all of them. There's no point. If you have free time, you can go over these, but not now. I had a massive day on Friday, up 7% here. But look at the main ETF, or there is no sign of bullish structure break here on the daily time frame. For me to turn bullish on any stock after a huge downtrend is a pretty simple rule that I guess every single strategy that follows. That's the base of every strategy. Is just wait for a price to break the prior lower highs, the candle close above it, and then somewhere around here, price gonna form some high value zone, and then it's gonna pull back here. We're gonna go long, and then gonna keep buying longs until price is making higher highs and higher lows. But for now, prices keep making lower lows and lower highs. So our goal is pretty easy and simple. That instead of selling at lower lows, we're just gonna sell at lower highs. I'm gonna wait for confirmation on a smaller time frame, targeting this previous lower lows, and the next target is obviously going to be the next liquidity low. But for now, if you're looking at the ARC, we have this daily bearish liquidity pocket formed, price pierced through it, closed below it, and also broke this monthly low. And Friday pumped back into it, and we got this end of the rejection here. Hourly not looking so good. So for me, I'm expecting some red open on Monday here below Friday highs. So that's a nice short setup as long as price is in this high value zone. Or not, definitely expecting some more continuation like lower here. Something like this is definitely possible ABC. If price breaks above this Friday highs, then another short setup we can see is sweep above Friday highs, maybe a gap up, and then it starts filling back down. So these are some two setups for shorts I'll be watching. For longs, again, I told you I want to see a clean close above on the daily level, picking higher highs and higher lows on at least 2 to 4 hour time frame. Only then I will look for longs on the pullback. But for now, very low risk shorts on mainly most of the names to start the week, and then we can reassess once this moves plays out. Dow Jones. Again, if you have any questions as I'm going through charts, you can type it in the free chat room here. Dow Jones also sideways here on the daily, 4 days chop in a row. But it was another good shot below Friday highs, as you see on the hourly time frame. And same setup as ORC, but it went a little higher and rejected off this hourly bearish pocket. So a clean setup would be on a smaller time frame to wait for this 50-minute break of a structure. Once structure breaks, that is going to be the freshly formed newly bearish liquidity pocket, easy pullback and shorts to the downside. Or the same scenario, goes higher and then go lower. Longs only, I don't have to repeat myself like this on the second pullback. Let me give you some targets too for IWM if it's kept going lower. On the daily, I see there is a clean bullish pocket right here. We have this small gap left to fill below here. So this is a possible scenario. You pull back here and then you come back higher. Good short setup. Jets sideways. We have this banks also sideways, closed in this daily pocket. Let's look at Qs. Qs actually looking more bearish than ARC and IWM. We have this very clean textbook support break and resistance. Retest here, same kind of thing. Price daily formed this bearish pocket, pulled back into it on the hourly, and this is setup I gave you just before this start of the power hour. Expected price to dump here, and we got this massive dump, and that was the whole idea for that trade. In the power hour highs, and that was a clear 1 minute fake out. And once I got this confirmation right here that there is a clean liquidity sweep on the pullback, I alerted some puts here, and then boom, massive dump onto the downside after some chop right here, and our puts went 200%. Very easy play using internal range liquidity sweep. Price tagged this daily bearish liquidity pocket, which was the end of the day. Reason for an end of the selling. Now you guys know, right, for Monday, this is what I'm targeting at. This is a daily bullish pocket that I see right below here around 570, 567. If price goes here, then we can see, or quick dump back to fill this gap. We have this equal lows right here around 552. Is still a lot of far, 552, but this is definitely achievable. 570 or two in a week or so, and possibly pump back higher. Sam is definitely looking more weak on the weekly time frame. We have this weekly or even monthly lows break here, weekly change of structure, definitely not bullish. And if you look on the weekly, we have this massive weekly fresh pocket. So even if we see a pullback on next week, let's say green candle, and we close somewhere around here, and then the week after, I would definitely be looking to short again with a very tight stops at 360, and targeting these lows and possibly this massive uh, bullish liquidity pocket. If we look at the volume profile of this, you can also see a lot of high volume bars here, and a lot of bars here, and now price is in this huge volume gap right here, up to, I would say, 300 to 95. So where bulls can actually step in and try to push high. So all the scenarios so far are leading to a bearish reversal. S&P 500, I think this is the one I gave you already, kind of same as Qs, but it just failed to push a bit higher. Also rejected this internal range liquidity sweep that I was talking about on Qs, high value zone, same kind of stuff. But on Monday, let's say if you open sideways, then I would be at that point, whenever the market opens, I would say for 30 minutes, or at least 5-10 minutes, to see if price is making any highs or any lows. And after that, if price sweeps above or below that level, only then I get into a trade, and my targets are pretty simple. This previous day's highs and previous day's lows as my main targets, and my small targets are this internal range liquidity highs and lows. Right, so that's how I look for SPY trades in the first 30 minutes. So back to SPY. Yeah, definitely bearish. And if you don't know, we are in the Netflix for the next week. If you're looking on the daily time frame, not not such a great close for the bulls. I would say even on the weekly time frame, we have this massive weekly breakdown, and on the monthly, that was the first time it made this. First broke it, we got this lower highs, lower lows the first time, and now another one, and this is a proper trend is formed on the monthly time frame, where it made twice lower lows and lower highs. Daily is definitely weak, and on the monthly, 100 is definitely coming next. So maybe next week we can see trading around 100, even below that. So looked at Netflix, so all the couple other names, so that was the reason you think we can see one more leg down, just looking at all the names too. And one more thing that I would suggest to you guys is always look at these names, I would say 2 or 3 times a day, if you want to have a good grab of the market, where it wants to go, or if it wants to get sideways a little for a day or two. Checking all these ETFs and all these names in your watch list 2 or 3 times a day definitely gives you a good head start before going to the next week too, or even the next day. So now let's go back into the couple names again. I do not day trades any of these names, because most of these names have low option chain volume, and only swing. All of these names never really took a day trade. In the last only 5-10 minutes, I take swings on it. Apple right now, sideways action here, definitely looking more bullish than any other name out there. I think one more highs can come on. If less, even if I want to short here, there is really no point shorting in this range or even going long. If I want to go long, I would probably wait for some higher time frame sweep and then go long. And for short, it's the same story. All-time high sweep and then low risk shorts targeting this lows here back down. But so far, no trades in Apple, just in the complete range. Airbnb was a good setup we took for a swing this week. The reason was pretty simple on this one, textbook. So we have this daily close here on Airbnb on a high volume below 160.70, and at that point it was pretty clear. Even if I go back and show you guys the chart, it is gonna look so obvious that it just had to dump and it got no choice. And then we had this equal lows here at 110, massive range breakdown, and high volume too on this. So pretty obvious shot for me to take, and I allotted it to my team to rest. As you can see what happened. Next, I think puts went 200% or 300% on the week. I would wait for a retest of this 116 level again, and possibly another continuation back to this 110 level or Airbnb. Adobe broke above this daily highs. Low volume, definitely weak below this 346. We have this internal range, equal high sweep. 4 hours bearish close. Lot of low volume. Can be a good buy here at 315 because price did break above this highs. If bulls hold this, they can push it higher, but price is down to this level. They might as well just keep dumping it to 312 to sweep that, and then a possible reversal. But on the weekly, these things definitely looking weak as massive range breakdown here on the week. We have this 332. Anytime is below 332, definitely weak. It's definitely going to go this 274. We have this next level on the weekly 278, 274. Definitely possible. We have earnings in, we still have a time to earnings, a month almost. So watch the 332 healthy pumps, 278. Low risk short here. ADSK. Firm's a good, a firm can be a good buy here. 62.26, we have this daily low sweep, but bulls need to do a little bit hard work here. Needs to break above this Friday highs, or even possibly this like 69, 60 or 65 highs. Then this can be a strong low, pump higher, pull back, and then starting to move high. Anything below is dump city, just like UPSD. If you look at it, firm is right here. It was in September, they couldn't push higher, price tagged it. I was expecting a pump out of it, but we have this massive breakdown and then just, straight dump. So firm kind of the same level right now. Let's see if, bulls hold this level. If not, then they're going to continue dumping it back down to this possible 47, 44 level. AMD, exact same, AMAT, exact same setup as Qs. Guys, if anything changes, let's say on Monday or after Monday, I'm going to keep you guys updated in the free live uh, commentary section. So, have the notifications on for the channel if you want, constant updates on the market. AMD is definitely extended a lot. So no trades for me here. I would only go shorts in this zone here. If we see a pullback into this 223 or 230 zone, which is a daily bearish pocket with the tight stops on the smaller time frame, higher highs. Amazon's back into this daily pocket. Bulls hold this lows, then we can probably see a pump back up. We have this high volume too on Friday. So low hold, and Amazon can definitely go a little bit higher. So another good short setting up or longs, but looking at this weekly time frame here for ANF, we had this massive pump of, I think so, the more return this Nvidia, it's like $7 all the way up to $165, and it's now dumping back down. Looking at this monthly or even the weekly chart, it's not a good look. So definitely can give a nice shot after the earnings. 65.70 breaks and they just gonna kill it to back to 40, 35. Definitely can go below this. So 66 is a break and can be a good short level here for ANF. Man, so many bearish names here on the weekly time frame. Now here is another popular one on this weekly high sweep on this one, and candle closed below this level 2, which is 134.50. Monthly, not a good look, broke below it. Even monthly bearish pocket formed. And this thing's not looking good. Also daily. Daily extended, but weekly definitely bearish. Daily is bearish too, but there's no point of going short here. Only on the pullbacks. Let's say if price pulls back to this 143 level, which is a short-term pump, I mean, it's also a nice in 10, 15 points pump here, but definitely no shorts. But if we see a pump and smaller time frames, already probably bullish. Yes, yes. I'd say if it keeps on pumping and breaks above this 143 and sweeps off that level, that can give us a nice short entry right here. Continuing the trend lower here. But at this point, just leave it alone. Yes, look at most of the laggings name in this sell-off here. Avigo, AMAT, to the semis that are definitely lagging. I think MU is another one. We have already dumped last week. So Avigo, AMAT, two of the lagging ones they have not dumped yet, but setup is definitely there. Looking at the weekly Avigo candle, massive volume in here, and this prior week high rejection, week close, and we have this clean liquidity level at 324. We have this weekly bullish pocket at 300, 310. So very high chances, this go here and possibly come back up or continue lower. But a good looking shorts on EVGO if next week if we break below this 332, 333 level. American Express is bullish. We have this daily change of structure. Price tag this weekly bullish pocket. Price made highs, higher lows, and another highs. So definitely bullish here on AXP. Above this Friday highs or this Wednesday highs around 343, 345. I mean, B is always bearish anyway. So most of the time it's chopping or it's dumping. There's nothing else it's doing. If I mean, look at the monthly chart. It's just in this massive chop and also rejecting of this December 23 bearish liquidity pocket, breaking below this monthly lows again. So it looks like a very clean and sustained higher time frame, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows trend. It's forming, definitely going to break it at some point, or even the COVID lows where it can actually give a long-term pumps on all the time frames. China. Monthly candles closing in just 4 days. We also have a short week next week. That was same as Q's, I see. Yeah, I see identical to Q's, just no point. Same setup. Best Buy, no. Big is a good short. Very tight stops on this one. If it opens below Friday lows, yes, it's Friday lows, and then definitely it can dump back to this lows here again at 473. Tight stops at Friday highs. Very good looking short, tight stops, and we have this massive um, reward to capture on this one. Weibo, just look at the chart. I mean, it's a done deal. Any weekly green candle, we see one or two green weekly candles. Very easy short back to the new all-time lows. All these recessionary names are looking good. We have this massive dump, but this cat looks like flagging again, retesting this prior all-time highs, bouncing. Bulls hold this 523, 520 zone, then I think it can straight go higher, just above this zone, 520. Another nice strong name, CCL. We have this daily lows also change the structure above this highs here. If we break above the Friday highs, break can give a nice continuation move on this one. Yeah, Friday high needs to be break on this one. If the market moves, I think this can lead some of the names in this sector. Chewy's is weak, always weak. Chipotle. I think Chipotle is ready for some pump here. We have this weekly bullish pocket. Price held onto it. We have this weekly low sweep too. They have a very clean liquidity to take out at 32.29. Break this, I think you can feel some of the gap. And it already dumped a lot from all-time highs, I would say 50-60%. So I think a nice short rally can come and then we'll start dumping back down again. So definitely watching a swing on that one. Coins. Let's look at MSTR. I'm also short MS for into next week. I don't know, Bitcoin's gonna do, but just looking at this MSTR chart, this massive, massive move to the downside, we clean, slice through all these supports, and on Friday, massive volume close here. But if we looking at the weekly chart, even on this high volume, price has not taken any external range liquidity, which is at 116, 115, right? So I think they keep on dumping. At least 157 is definitely gonna come probably next week. If you look at a daily chart, the dumps are there, but it's not like big moves, not like a massive candle, to flush out all the longs and then intraday reversal back to the half of the move or near the highs close. So we've not seen that type of move yet. I think that one fine flush is coming for MSTR before it see another short rally, 50-70% move to the upside, and then starts a reversal back down. So definitely watching for that move, and also want to catch that one last leg down where we were at coin. So yeah, maybe coin dumps too then, I guess. Costco finally broke down, or it's a fake out. Just watch this level here, 904 or 910 level. Massive breakdown of this weekly range. Stays below, it's an obvious textbook break and retest setup. Break above, and then we have this nice sweep of this massive bullish pennant to the downside, and then it's going to keep going higher as it does all this time, regardless of what economy or market we are in. CPNG, very nice short setup. I'm actually in this name. I got in my small account. I think last 2 weeks ago I got it, and then they're already up 230% on my put. I still have on two or three more weeks left on this name. If you see it green on Monday or Tuesday, around 27 or above Friday highs, but below this 28 level. It's a very easy shot, I would say, with the very tight stops or no risk at all. Expecting price to go down to this 25 and 23.42 is my ultimate target on this name. Very weak name. But this is what happens if you all these names have been pumping from $9 all the way up to like 34. So that's like 350% move right here. And if you want to buy right here after this massive move, you're definitely making wrong choices in life. But you can capitalize on these moves because regardless of now what market does, goes up or down. All these names, all these small growth names, they are back into their downtrend on the weekly time frame. So sell the pumps, and then we'll probably hold one or two or three good names that have weekly or monthly structure break, and then just get in the money or at the money puts, and just hold for a week or two or three. You will definitely get some multi baggers out of those plays if you're patient enough. Time is definitely a good shot for next week that I'm going to be adding to my watch list. Massive weekly range break here, 235 range breakdown, also a monthly too. I think it can continue below that to 192 level here. I think they can dump it this one next week, very just before the earnings too. Because the good thing about all these setups, all or the Friday PA did that price pumped higher a little bit. So now that even if we got stopped out on Monday on let's say on CRM, on if even in Swing or Netflix, the stop loss is definitely gonna be very small just because we got this pump on Friday, so we don't have to risk a lot of money to make a lot of money. CVNAs. I like CVNA short for like long term. This I've been watching for a long time. I wanted to short it in December of last year, but we're back here. December is again, and now it looks ready for a massive shot. CVNA, we have this massive rally after COVID, it topped at 373, around the same levels. And now this is the level I was expecting price to go off as this was its insane run. And then it did take out this liquidity of this all-time highs. Also, this monthly structure broke, and the next monthly candle closing in 4 days. Definitely not looking like bulls are in control anymore of this name. Weak financials, pumping pure on hype. I think this one's is definitely gonna go back to where it belongs. Definitely under 2 digits. I mean, Dollarama, all these names, it's this weak this whole time. Disney, there's so many short setups. I mean, I don't know, which one to select, but things change fast, so you got to adapt fast too. So let's say next week we got this massive green candle, closing above this week's high. Then there's no point of me have the short bias on most of the names, or if so, then I will just look for bullish setups. So you adapt with the market as it moves. We have this Disney weekly breakdown. Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna take a swing on this one if we close as it is on Monday, a little bit higher. I think swing can work on this one below 108. Yeah, 108. We can Dundee DBN base. Probably one of the most shittiest name I've seen ever. Like a large cap shitty name. Its relative ETF 10 is pumping. So there's 52-week highs right around here most. And I think it has 20 or 30% EMPH in it. But EMPH is dumping itself to this COVID lows. Even yeah, COVID lows, this 2018 lows. Definitely gonna go. Ford, I'm long on Ford on this break here that we got at 12. I'm holding shares of this one, but on the weekly, definitely looking like a strong chart, a very clean higher highs and higher lows forming right here. Another, I would say, strong weekly close where price filled that gap and bounced back high. So hold this Friday lows here. I think it's going to continue its trend to the upside, taking out this lows here of highs of 1495 and then 15, and then we have 17 inside. GM is the same chart, bullish. GameStop's a done deal too. On the monthly, we have this massive breakdown. This thing's going to 17, 16 for sure. Google's very strong close on the weekly time frame, but is this actually a good spot to open new longs or new shorts? Definitely not. But I would definitely be more inside of shorts here on Google. Another factor is lagging to Google near all-time highs, very high volume, guys. On the weekly time frame, if I see massive volume, even though there were no earnings, we got this news. Wow, this is April of 2023. This massive volume in 2 or 3 years on Google, and you think they're buying the highs? Maybe not, but I'm not in on the side of longs here on this one unless you see a nice pullback on the weekly. Then we can buy it for long term too. But for now, even for a longs on the daily, not a good setup. So I'll be looking to short Google here on a smaller time frame structure break on the hourly. Let's say now we have this internal range liquidity on Google at 294.36. Price closed in this smaller time frame bearish pocket, rejected it. So I'll be looking for 294.36 break. Right, we have this liquidity to break this, and this can be a nice easy shot to even though let's say market goes sideways, this can give us a nice bagger or two on intraday time frame. Hood tagged this daily pocket and bouncing. Again, no reason to short here near the lows. Only good setups are gonna come when price, pulls back to any daily bearish pockets. Not on this name, but on most of the names. Pull back into the daily bearish pocket, or pull back. We see some retracements and a sweep of internal range liquidities. Then that's gonna give us nice continuation setups next week. We have Meta. Meta's the weakest one out there. Swept these weekly lows, but not a great close, I would say, on the daily. And daily looks like just a bear flagging on the smaller time frame and ready to just go down again. We have this massive gap to fill below 550, definitely possible. If you're not in premium, I try to send this Max 7 updates, once or twice a month, where I laid out this, longer time frame roadmap of all these Max 7 names. If you're interested, you can, go, check it out in this premium and in under the Max 7 section. Let's jump to NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I gave to members that right here on this top on this day, Monday, November 3rd, to when the price was 207. I shared my exact thoughts that at this level, my all the uptrend targets are done. And, I gave my team target from this wave 4 low 165 all the way to 215. Gave them this wave 5 target. Once it's done, I told them now it's not a good time to hold longs on Nvidia. It's time to sell. And right after this, we got these two massive moves to the downside. First one, lower highs and lower lows that it made on Friday, which absolutely killed the bullish thesis for this name here. So on Monday, so 173 is definitely going to be a big level next week for Nvidia and for us of the market. Obviously, 173 breaks on Nvidia. I think it's going to be a nice selling below this level. We see sweep and hold of this level. That means there's a possible. So 173 a key level. for this week. Or I think we're done with most of the names. I don't want to go over all these names. I think we got good enough names in our watch list for next week, and we also got a basic sense of what we're going to look for on Monday or Tuesday open with most of the names and setups.